This one video is going to show you how to win almost every single listing presentation. In this video, I'm going to share with you a strategy that nobody is telling you about, the psychology behind winning people over in listing presentations. This is something that I've taken from Tony Robbins and I've been implementing into my own business to win almost every single listing presentation I go into, whether I'm the underdog, whether I'm underprepared, does not matter. I've been winning almost every single listing presentation by implementing this strategy behind me, and today I'm going to show it to you. What's up, real estate agents? My name is Mike Sherrard. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. If you love learning tips, tricks, and strategies on how to build your real estate business, scale using social media, and dominate your market, please make sure you subscribe and lightly tap that notification bell. So, as mentioned, I want to get into this strategy and nobody is showing it to you, but it's so powerful. In this strategy, I'm going to share with you the psychology behind winning listing presentations, something that you can use even if you're a brand new agent in order to win against more experienced agents or agents that might have been a bit more prepared than you. This is how you're going to build a connection with sellers, and this is how you're going to win them over. So what is this strategy? This is tapping into the 6 essential human needs, as you can see right here. We've got certainty, variety, recognition, connection, growth, and finally, contribution. Now, what are these? These are the 6 basic human needs that every single person needs in order to be fulfilled. This is something that Tony Robbins taps into, and this is something that the majority of high-ticket speakers and motivational people speak into in order to build connections with people. Now, the amazing part is we can do the exact same thing with sellers. So let me go through each and every one of these and what they mean. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to show you how you can implement this into your listing presentation in order to win over sellers every single time. Because here's the problem. In the past, I was doing listing presentations that were very marketing heavy because my specialty is marketing. But what I started realizing after digging into stuff like this is not everybody cares that much about marketing. Not everybody cares that much about statistics or your experience. Not everybody cares that much about getting in touch with them every single day. Certain people need certain things in order to be fulfilled and be happy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to tap into whatever your seller is interested in so that you can win this listing presentation over other agents who aren't diving deep into the psychology of what the seller actually cares about. So let's run through these one by one. And then again, I'm going to explain how you can implement these into your real estate business to win over every client that you get in front of. So let's talk about the first one. Certainty. So what is certainty? Certainty is assurance. Some people want to be assured that the job is going to get done. Some people want to know, based on statistics and experience, that you have the credibility to, as much as you humanly can, guarantee a good outcome. And they want to mitigate and avoid risk. Now let's look at the next one, which is variety or uncertainty. What does that look like? Variety are people that care about something new. They want something that's trending. They want something that's relevant, something that new that sets them apart from the others. And there's a lot of people that care about that because they want innovation. People crave something new and they want to be a part of something that's new and exciting. Now let's look at recognition. What is recognition? Recognition is actually people that care about something that's special, something that recognizes them or something that they can recognize themselves. So what would that be like? That's like things like name dropping. You know, an example that one of my mentors, Ed Milet from the Ed Milet Show, who was talking to us about this the other day, what he was saying is that, you know, he went into a suit shop the other day and he was getting a custom suit made by one of the biggest and most well-known tailors in North America. And what he was saying is that as soon as he walked into that shop, the people started dropping names, saying, you know, Ed, I made these suits for Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, LeBron James. I made all these suits for all these people. You know, that's what recognition is, because the salesman was tapping into something that Ed might recognize as something that's special. But the funny thing is Ed, you know, he's worth $500 million himself. He doesn't care about recognition. He cares about quality. So what he cares about is something completely different than what this salesperson salesperson was trying to pitch him, and in turn, he actually lost out on a bit of business because of the fact that he was trying to pitch Ed on something that he didn't care about. Ed cares about value and quality. He doesn't care about name dropping because he's worth as much as some of they are. So again, it's tapping into certain things that people really value and care about. Let's go on to the next thing, and then we're going to get into how this relates to real estate. The next thing is connection or closeness. So this is what people care about in terms of building a connection with someone or establishing communication. Having a strong relationship with someone sometimes trumps things like dropping names or dropping stats or awards or anything like that. Sometimes people just want to have a strong connection with whoever they're working with in order to make sure that they feel like the job's going to get done, in order to make sure that they're going to be having their hand held throughout the process so that there's a connection from start to finish. And there's a lot of people that actually value that in the real estate space that not too many people understand. Now, the next thing is growth or expansion. There's a lot of people, again, who care about growth in the sense of they want exposure. They want something that is going to take them to the next level. They are unhappy with where they are right now, and they don't want to stay stagnant. They love and lust for growth, for pushing boundaries, pushing limits, and otherwise taking things to a level that they might be uncomfortable with, but they know is a cut above where they are right now. And finally, we have contribution down here at the bottom. Contribution is giving. The people that long for giving, supporting, giving back to others, and making an impact and a difference on other people's lives. There's a lot of people, again, who love to make a contribution, and that's what they care about. That's one of their priorities in life, is to make sure that whoever they're working with or whatever they are doing and are associated with is giving back and bettering somebody else. So now that we've gone through the 6 basic human needs that people long for, what I want to do is I want to share with you how you can tap into this in order to win over any seller, regardless of your experience. And again, this is something that nobody's sharing with you that I need you to implement because it's made a world of a difference for my business. Again, as I alluded to, I always thought that because I had the best marketing strategies in my city, that that's all people care about. I could show people how I could get their home in front of thousands of people per day, more than the next agent. I could show people that I had the sexiest photos in the video and this. I could do so much more. But what I realized is when I lost a couple listing presentations, I actually reached back out to the seller and said, hey, I would love some feedback. What can I do next time? What didn't I do that you would have recommended me do better? Or what can I do next time to not lose a listing presentation? And I had a couple people say, well, Mike, we love what you do with the marketing and we love what you do with getting the exposure, but all we want is somebody that's going to be there for us and have strong communication. All we want is to make sure that somebody's going to hold our hand through the process, and regardless of the marketing they do, all we want is to make sure that they're going to take us step by step and be there holding our hand every step of the way. So that's when I started diving deep into the psychology of things and came across how to implement this strategy that, again, people like Tony Robbins tap into in order to get better results. So here we go. Now let's tap into how you can use this for your listing presentation. So I'm going to hop over here and we have some things over here. So let's look at something like certainty. There's certain people that crave certainty. So if you go into a listing presentation and people are talking about, we just want to make sure that the job is getting done in X amount of time. We just want to make sure that we can move by this date. We just want to make sure. So the sellers are always going to give you a hint. You don't have to, blindly read what they're going to be interested in. They are always going to give you a hint about what they care about. And that's when you can tailor your listing presentation to be more focused on what they care about. So again, with certainty, if somebody starts talking about they just want to make sure it gets done by this date, they just want to make sure that you've got the credibility to do this, what you need to do is shift your listing presentation in order to have a bigger focus on things like experience and statistics. These are people that crave certainty. These are people that want to know your stats of the neighborhood. They want to know how many homes you sold. They want to know how many homes have expired. They want to know the numbers that are giving them the certainty that you are the best agent for the job. Now let's move on to the next one. This is variety. So what would somebody care about who wants variety? Let me tell you, variety is where I specialize. Now, variety are people that crave something new and different. What they're craving is an agent that's going to do something unique for their property. So let me give you an example of this. This is again like something like social media marketing, or leveraging ManyChat, or leveraging Instagram, or doing anything creative like drone videos, drone photos. These are people that crave something that's a little bit different, that sets you apart from the rest of the agents. So if you have sellers in a listing presentation that are asking you, what can you do differently for us? Those are people that crave variety and somewhat of what's called uncertainty. They want something that's different, and they want you to explain to them what you can do that's going to separate you from the pack. And what that comes down to is tapping into things like trends and new tech and anything new that you're leveraging that can give you a leg up. Now, the third one is recognition. What would somebody, we don't have really an opportunity to drop names unless you're in a big city like Vancouver, Toronto, LA, Miami. You can't say that you worked with a superstar here in Calgary because there just isn't any. So what would somebody who craves recognition be interested in? This would be in a case where a seller's asking you, what's the biggest thing you've done? Or what have you achieved? They're looking for something for you to do to wow them. And that's what people want in terms of recognition. So if somebody starts asking you, what have you achieved in the real estate industry? Or what makes you so special in the real estate industry versus what makes you so different, if people are asking you questions like that, they're craving recognition. And what does that mean? That means you need to start tailoring your listing presentation to start talking about the awards you may have won, or any certain milestone that you've achieved, whether it be a $15 million listing like I've had myself. So that's somebody that craves recognition, is they want to know the big show-stopping stats that you can pull out that are going to wow them, the awards, the recognition. That's what they care about. Now we're going to go into number 4, which is connection. And again, this is the one that I just didn't even think about, but makes a world of a difference. Connection are people that want to have communication. And there's so many sellers out there, especially first-time sellers, that all they care about is that you're going to be there to be calling them after every listing to give feedback. You're going to be there to give them updates every single week on a consistent basis after open houses. You're going to be there to hold their hand every step of the way to make sure that they are comfortable. It's almost like babysitting them. They want to have their hand held, and that's who wants a connection. So if people are starting to ask you in listing presentations as a seller, how are you going to communicate with us? Or what are you going to do to keep us in the loop as things go on? Are you going to be giving us feedback? Those are people that crave connection. And again, there's so many people who I've taken over listings from that couldn't sell the house. And I asked the seller, what was one of the biggest things that went wrong with the previous agent? And almost every single time, yes, they'll sometimes mention marketing, but almost every single time they mentioned that they didn't stay in touch with them. They felt like they listed and fell off the map, and they didn't give them feedback. Those are people that crave connection, and there's more of those people out there than you would imagine. So if people are asking for what you're going to do in order to keep them involved in the process, those are people that crave connection. Now, the 5th one is growth. So if somebody wants to better their own life, how are you going to relate to that in a listing presentation? Growth is exceeding expectations. Growth is going above and beyond the rest. Growth is getting astronomical results for somebody's property. Now, what would you pitch if somebody wants to know if you're going to be the best agent for them when you can tell that they're caring about growth? What you do is you push exposure. If somebody wants to know how you're going to get their home in front of more people or what you're going to do, I have a lot of people, again, in listing presentations that are saying, are you on this website? Are you on that website? Where's my property going to be seen? If you hear the words, where is my property going to be seen, that person cares about growth. So what you want to do is you want to pitch exposure and mass exposure. So you can talk to people that how you are going to be using social media marketing, or you have all this syndication of websites around the world, and you're going to get their home in front of thousands of people per day, above and beyond, and no matter where they look for a property, their home is going to show up. Those are people that crave growth, and you can tap into that by touching on mass exposure of their property. And finally, we're going to tap into contribution. Number 6, who would be interested in contribution? These are people, again, that care about what you do to give back to the community. These are people that care about involvement and what you're going to do to help others. If they ask about your community service, or if you've done events in the community before, those are people that care about giving back. Now, what would you do to tap into those people? in terms of tapping into those, you would talk about what you do in terms of charity work, or do you host community events and give a certain amount of proceeds to a local community, girls and boys group or something like that? Do you give a percentage split of your commissions to charity? What do you do to give back? Because a lot of people have this perception that real estate agents make a lot of money, and a lot of people hope that because they're making a lot of money, in turn they're going to give back to the community and they're going to give back to charities with that income. So if you have people that's starting to, give you a little bit of hint that they care about local community events and giving back and supporting others, that's when you want to tap into anything that you are doing yourself in order to give back. Things like, again, charity work or donations or anything that you are doing to support those in your local city. So guys, that's how you tap in to what sellers actually care about. So many people make the mistake of creating this perfect listing presentation, but it's geared towards the masses. But what you don't understand is that every single seller is different and every single seller cares about something else. So if you're able to go in with a strong listing presentation, but then through dialogue and conversation, starting to understand what they truly care about and tailoring the delivery of your listing presentation to what that person cares about, using the 6 basic needs of every single human, that is what's going to set you apart, and that's going to help you win listings. Because if you have a top producing agent that goes in there and just starts banging out stats about market share and listing numbers and all this stuff, but all they really care about is having their hand held throughout the process, because if you tap into that in terms of connection, you're actually going to beat that top agent out because you tapped into what the seller truly cares about. So if you have any more questions about how to win listing presentations, please drop a comment below. I really appreciate when you guys engage with my content. Otherwise, please make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and we will see you next time.